Hey, it's Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. You're watching FYNTV.com, and we're live from Circuit World in East LJ. That means it's time for Bobcats Turf Talk. We want to thank Shane's Rib Shack for providing a meal tonight. We also want to thank Pepsi for providing drinks for our players this year during the show. We have our guest tonight with us as head coach, Casey Wingard of the Bobcats. Defensive coordinator, Coach Flowers, is with us again. Free safety Drew Dyer is with us. Outside linebacker Tyler Bunton is with us. They're on the couch here with us for our first segment. And then we have guard Dylan Stewart will be with us tonight also. And defensive tackle Dustin Brenner. We got a great lineup for you tonight. Let's go over, first of all, we're in region football, so what we do when we start every show is just go over the region. Ridgeland's 3-0, Northwest Whitfield's 3-1, Pickens is 2-1, Heritage is 2-2, Southeast Whitfield is 2-2, Gilmer is 0-3, Lafayette 0-3. This past week, scores within the region, Heritage lost 56-14. Ridgeland took out Heritage 56-14. Southwest Whitfield took out Gilmer here 13-0, and Pickens lost to Northwest Whitfield 50-41. Upcoming games this week: the Bobcats will be hosting Northwest Whitfield Friday night 7:30. So that is how the region breaks up. Coach, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Tough loss. I know you guys were really working on this one. You wanted to get this one in the win column. 13-0. But let me go right in, and I've got to ask it because I've received phone calls of it. I've seen pictures. This is a I think this is a 10-0 game at this time.
Yeah.
When what's the young man's name? I'm losing.
Griffin Cagle.
Griffin Cagle.
Yeah.
Griffin Cagle catches the ball on the 3, and even the opposing team chain gang just looked and said, nothing I can do, and he's called out of bounds, and you lose a touchdown off the scoreboard. Tell me a little bit, being a head coach, getting that, and this is your first year head coach, so let's just go into that. Getting that call that you just know you got, I'm saying it, robbed. You didn't say it. I'll say it. You got anything else you want me to say?
No,
you can't say?
No, we're good.
All right.
Get you out of trouble. It's just one of those things where I was on the other side, and our offensive coordinator and a couple coaches were down there looking, and they, come to me and threw their hands up. I believe he was in, all that stuff. So, when I'm approaching the refs, I always try to be very respectful. I mean, could have went out there, made a scene, all that stuff. Most of the time when I see that happen, they definitely don't reverse it. What the shocking point was for me, and I think for our team, was that call, in, out, we believe he was definitely in. The goal line stance where I believe we had 4 flags thrown on us going into the end zone, started saying leaps and bounds just about what we were trying to accomplish, what it was all going on. And it gets to that point, I told the kids, just play football, next play mentality, like we've preached from day one when we've started.
That play's over. Next play.
Next play. Let's punch it in. Okay, this happened. Focus, get it going, all that kind of stuff. We made a couple of changes, had another flag thrown, and it just seems like we just kept getting ourselves dug deeper in holes regardless of what calls were being made. That obviously did not help, but a couple of kids said, we've scored twice so far, and it's been taken away. However, in a coaching mind with these kids, you got to always have a next play mentality. You can't handle factors that you can't control. You can control getting your hand down in the grass, driving your feet, knowing what the play is, and blocking to your assignment, running the ball where you're supposed to run it. That's what I want them to focus on. And I know emotions get going, and it's easy to kind of set back and woe is me, we've been robbed. But with the mentality I'm trying to get these kids to understand is, we can't let we shouldn't even be in that position for somebody to have that effect on us.
Well, I've been watching games for years. You've been coaching for years. And I always know that these are these officials, they're human. They can make a mistake. I always go into a game saying, if they call a tight game, I'm okay with that. But I really get frustrated when I feel that points have been taken off the board. That's the line when I see an official that I feel, okay, you call the let me say it. I've always heard on TV. I want to call it ticky-tack, right? Right? A ticky-tack flag or whatever. But you throw that, no, okay, all right. But when it's down and you're down there ready to score, and there's a feeling that your team scored, but somebody took it off the board, and I know that's tough. 13-0, Coach Flowers. I want to ask you, and we'll get the guys in. Obviously, the defense played a good game. There was no runaway. It was actually, a field goal, and then it was a while before it was 3 and out, back and forth, and it was a while before they put a touchdown up, and then a field goal like close to the end of the game. So they were not moving the ball on you. How do you feel your defense played that night, and how did they adjust to what was going on the field?
Well, first off, I'm just real proud of them. They after those penalties, they did worry about what they could control, on defense. A lot of our guys play offense and defense, and right after that, little stop they had to go right back on defense. They forgot about it and worried about what they could control, and they went out there and, did pretty well. I don't think we had a perfect game on defense. There's still a lot of things we can improve on. I think they had 200 yards, 130 yards rushing, but hopefully this week we can build on that.
Well, I understand what you're saying, because if you've got a squad on the sideline that you have a number of players where your offense goes on the field, comes off, and your defense goes on, but these guys that have just thought they were going to get in the end zone, had a flag, a lot of these guys stayed on the field and had to suck it up right then and turn around and say, well, we've got to stop them. And they did that. And that's what you're trying to explain to me right now.
Test of character. Yes. Play mentality. So they responded very well.
Guys, talk a little bit about that game, and how do you get that feeling of next play when that happens? How do you get that and not find yourself coming out of the game, like, well, that just discouraged my night. I got to get past it. My head's got to get past it, and I got to go to the next place. Talk to me, Tyler.
That was really discouraging. I wasn't on offense at the time, but it was really discouraging after that penalty happened. But if we would have played the game like we could have played the game, that one little thing wouldn't have mattered. I feel like we could have done better. And going to the next play, I really just feel that if something bad happens, it happens. It's going to happen during the game. Something bad is going to happen. But we just got to focus on the next play and do your best to get that last play out and focus on the next one.
Let me hear from you, Drew, as far as free safety being out on the field. What did you guys feel like, especially like the one that was called out of bounds on the 3-yard line? I mean, talk a little bit about the emotions on the field last Friday night, knowing you were really in the game and just couldn't seem to get in the end zone, not because you didn't want to get there.
Well, all we can do on defensive side of the ball is do our job and try to get the ball back in the offense's hand. And I thought he scored and everyone else did, but us not scoring, we couldn't change anything about that. All we could do is just keep playing. So you just got to do your job and let everything else take care of itself.
Before we get the next guys in, considering I've got defensive guys in here for this segment, you're going up against a team. This Friday night, Northwest Whitfield, and let me just go over a couple things here. Northwest Whitfield's coming to town this week, and they have their passing game is already 1,691 yards, and their running game is 1,747. High-powered offense in that defense. Are you guys picking up on that this week through film, making the adjustments? You got 3 or 4 guys. You got 3 or 4 guys on rushing. They've got one guy rushing for 847 already on the year, 534, and another guy for 299. They're giving the ball to 2 or 3 people. So What are you guys seeing in film? And as on the defensive side of the ball, how do you keep yourself in a game like this, knowing you're going to see this kind of offense?
Well, we definitely seen on film that they do have some athletes. I know their quarterback, I think Shipley or something.
Yes.
I didn't know he's a good athlete. They have a big running back, but we don't really like to focus on that. We just like to do our job on our side of the ball and try to stop whatever they're going to throw at us.
As free safety, I've got to go to break, but you brought him up. He has 1,653 yards passing. He also has 534 yards rushing. So he's the kind of guy that's going to throw the ball or take off. And I always say those guys are dangerous because they like to pull you in and then drop a pass somewhere or take off. So what are you guys seeing as far as trying to contain this guy Friday night?
Well, I feel like the defensive line has to do their job and get pressure on him. We have to do our job and stay on the receivers. And if we stay on the receivers and he has to come out of the pocket, then we'd rather be doing that than him passing the ball and getting completions. So we want to force him out and make tackles on him.
We're going to take a brief break. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Gilmer Bobcats Turf Talk every Tuesday night here on FYNTV.com from Circuit World in East Ellijay here. And also thank you, Shane's Rib Shack. We get back, we're going to ask defensive coordinator how he plans this. So we've saved it for you, Coach Flowers. We'll be back after these messages.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Better days ahead. The Chevy Model Year End Clearance Event is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with savings up to 16% off MSRP. Our biggest discounts of the summer. Save over $4,100 off a new Chevy Malibu, just $19,500. Huge truck savings too, up to $8,600 off loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT. Now only $33,500. Don't miss the Model Year End Clearance Event at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Two.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You want to count it down from now
I'm
on,
good.
Coach? You
I'm
good?
I'm good.
All right. Coach Wingard producing the show. I'm your host, BKP. We're having a lot of fun here. And we're at Circuit World at East LJ every Tuesday night on FYN TV. It is time for Bobcats Turf Talk. And we want to thank Shane's Rib Shack and also for Pepsi for providing drinks. Before we left, Northwest Whitfield's coming to town. And, you know, I always say you have to know who's the challenge on the field on Friday night, and you've got to accept the challenge and go after it. Coach Flowers, here's the challenge. Defensive coordinator. Let's defensive coordinator. Northwest Whitfield, sir, is like we talked. This Shiflett is a junior. He's thrown for 1,653 yards. He's also run for 534. But then he also has a back. Sistak is run for 847. These guys, they've got weapons back there. So when you're coaching and you're coming up on a team on Friday night that you have two players to key on, some high school teams have that, but then you come up on a team that you've got about 4 or 5 you better keep your eye on. Talk about this high-powered, they're putting a lot of points up. How do you plan a defense for this?
Okay, this week I think it's less about scheme. We're going to, do a lot of the same stuff we've been doing, but it's more about running to the ball and make sure we gang tackle those players, because I don't think that just one person is going to be able to tackle, some of their, players. I think we're going to have to, hit them with 3 or 4 guys and just run to the ball and make sure we're pursuing every play. And it's, like I said, less about scheme and more about, our attitude Friday.
You got to pay attention when you got a powered offense like that where the ball is. I mean, you got a guy moving, but next thing you know, he's flipping it out or he's taking off, and keeping up with the ball can be the challenge when you have 4 or 5 guys that are going to touch the ball. What are you seeing as far as this quarterback, how to contain this guy?
Well, he's really a systematic quarterback. He doesn't just do one thing really well. He does a bunch of things well. He'll, hit you with a hitch there, hit you with a go there, or he'll run a little speed option and hit you there. And so we just got to be prepared for a lot of different things Friday and just make sure we're just running to the ball and doing our job and not focusing on, what somebody else's job is doing. Maybe they messed up on a play or tripped. You can't focus on that. You got to play the next play like we've been talking about and, swarm to the ball.
Coach Wingard, you guys know all the teams in this region. You guys have been playing them for years, and you know how their offense is coming up and their defense, and they know you also. How are you preparing for this week? How do you continue to grow these young men in the right direction as far as keeping them focused, keeping them excited about playing football at this point of the season and knowing the challenges they're up against?
I always found it better when you throw tricks kind of at the players to keep them interested and focused, just with what we've had going on, preaching to them every week, having a key word to say to them, doing their job, but also making it fun and interesting for the players. When you get into this part of the season, get down in a stance, going through the same drill you've been doing probably since spring ball, starts to get the monotony of it. So to break that up, throwing little tricks in there, make them think a little bit differently, keep it very positive on the field, and get them competing against each other, helps out a ton. So yesterday, Monday, we had a regular Monday practice. It was started after the kind of loss from Southeast. it was kind of didn't start out the way I wanted it to. It was kind of very slow. So finally, at the end of practice, we broke out, and you're looking at the ultimate champion, never been defeated. Rock, paper, scissors tournament we did at the end of practice. So to throw stuff like that at them, do something a little different.
Settle down over there, Stuart.
Do something a little different. It was pretty fun. They got fired up, ready to go. And it was, it was something, just a little wrinkle, something fun to throw at them. And, I think they responded real well. And we had a phenomenal practice today.
Dylan, you've been on this team for several years. You've been on this team for several years. You know this team you're going to see Friday night. You know these guys. I mean, you've seen this. This is basically the same team you played last year, okay? Now, we played over at Northwest Whitfield last year. Now, what happened last year in that game?
We lost.
No, we had a 40-minute rain delay.
Rain delay.
If you can't remember that, how can you tell me you're ready? Sorry, Coach. Had to take that one. I had to say. You don't remember that? Oh,
Right,
yeah.
that's in the
we,
past,
We had
right?
a 40-minute
Explain.
rain delay. Anyhow, I just was waiting for that. When I was just wanting to say, you remember we had that rain delay over there? Dylan, getting ready for these guys. You have played these guys. Getting ready for these guys. How do you pump your front line up, all the guys up on that offensive side and say, look, we can play these guys? Because you can play any given Friday night. You can play these guys. So what kind of work are you guys doing this week to prepare for Northwest Whitfield, knowing the challenge you have?
It's just a lot more of trying to stay low up front and play a little bit more physical than what we have. Because last week we just weren't very physical. You could see a couple of us just getting beat off the ball, myself included. But it's just a lot of do your job. The front line, for the most part, we all know we can play with any team in this region. It's just a matter of going out Friday nights and getting the job done.
Before we go out of this first break here, Dustin Brenner, defensive tackle, you've been watching film this week. What do you think about seeing this high-powered offense you have to go up against Friday night, and how have you been working this week to prepare for this game?
Well, their offensive line is very physical and big. They're pretty good. We've been working pass rush, staying physical. That's our big thing. We got to work on staying physical.
Squeezing.
Squeeze. Oh, yeah, Gray was squeezing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take another break. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Gilmer Bobcats Turf Talk here at Circuit World in East LJ. And we'll be right back to wrap up, talk about this upcoming game, and also highlight some games that will be coming up Friday night and how you can follow them on Twitter with Fetcher News. Take us a break, Cole.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
And we're back. You're watching FYNTV.com, and this is Gilmer Bobcats Turf Talk. We're at Circuit World here in East LJ. Again, thank you to Shane's Rib Shack and Pepsi. Now, on Friday nights, if you're not able to make the game and you want to follow us on Twitter, at Fetcher News, hashtag Team FYN Sports, hashtag Gilmer Football. every Friday night, if you'll follow us, Luke Davenport's on the sideline. He is tweeting out what's happening and when it's happening so you can keep up with the games. And we have several other sports writers on other sidelines throughout the region. R.J. Casey, if you want to keep up with the Pickens game, and several others in the area. So that's at Fetcher News. You can follow us. In fact, I don't think anybody out there really wanted to keep up with the Pickens game, so I guess I'm in trouble again. I get in trouble, 3 times in 30 minutes? That's not bad, Coach. That's not bad. That's like practice, right?
Got you
beat. You got me beat?
Yeah.
And we're here before we wrap up tonight's show. Let's look at the upcoming games this week in the region. Pickens will be at home. The Dragons will be at home taking on Ridgeland. Again, Northwest Whitfield will be visiting Gilmer, and that'll be at 7:30. Come out and support the Bobcats. And also Lafayette will be playing Heritage. That's this Friday night in Quad A Region 6 football. Coach, let's take our last couple minutes. Let's not do rock, paper, scissors, okay? Okay, we good with that?
Yeah, we're good with that.
All right, we're going to have a talk because seriously, Friday night, take the fans into the game. Tell us, what you guys are preparing for, how you guys plan to handle this kind of team, and what you think you're seeing Friday night in this game.
Friday, what we want to have is, of course, we want to control the ball on offense. They are a very high-powered, well-coached-up football team. They can score at multiple different plays at any time. So to stop that, we want to kind of take the ball away from them and hold it on offense. Hopefully we can get the offense rolling and get those just chopping the wood basically down the field a little bit. Start having, momentum build in that aspect of the game. And defensively, we've been working all week. D-line's been going over some quick pass rush, get your hands up. If he throws it quick, so some hitches and goes. And then he's able to run. He's very mobile. They have a running back who is a very good running back who we're going to have to gang tackle. We're going to have to swarm to the ball. So when it comes to defensive backs, they're going to have to stay with their man and read what they have in the coverage. Defensive line and linebackers are going to have to read their keys in front of them. Footsteps down, we're hands on, attacking 1/3 of the man, squeezing down, getting our eyes inside. If there's a puller, blowing it up and all that good stuff, reading the progressions. Also, with the DBs, they're going to have to stick on their man and have to read run-pass rules. So defensively, we got to be on because they are very productive on offense. So that's our challenge this Friday night. And then offensively, getting that ball, holding on to the ball, and then just chopping it down the field.
Well, you can play these guys, and this is the Quad A Region 6. It's a very tough region. There's not an easy football game any Friday night in this region, and that goes for them too. I know they know this Gilmer team on any given Friday night. There's a lot of weapons on the field. And you guys can do the job. So I know they're probably well preparing, and they're not going to take you for granted. I'm for sure of that. And I'm for sure you're going to make it to where they realize they played a football game when they go home. Coach, wrapping up on the defense like we're talking about, how many adjustments have you had to make in the last couple of weeks with guys going back and forth? How are the guys reacting to playing two sides? I mean, it's only been 3 weeks ago that several of the guys weren't playing two sides. Is that coming along? Are you getting where you want to be? And you have a couple new players on the team, so are you getting there with that side?
Yes, we are, and we're just now, believe it or not, being able to kind of get our bearings, since we changed a little bit, things on the defense, starting to go back to the fundamentals this week and building on the success we had last week.
Ready on defense this week?
Yes, sir.
Ready? You ready?
Yes, sir.
Stay low?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you said it. I didn't say it. I just say, hey, I love to have these guys. I enjoy it. Don't forget, Team FYN Sports, always promoting and highlighting young athletes in a positive way. I just really enjoy getting the opportunity to sit down with these guys every Tuesday night and watching them play football. I'm your host, BKP. You've been watching Gilmer Bobcats Turf Talk. It's every Tuesday night. Tell your friends at 7 o'clock, every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock here at Circuit World in East LJ. Come in and tell them FetcherNews.com, FYN TV sent you, and they will give you a discount just because you watch the show and come in and say hello. Also, don't forget, every Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m., I do a live show, Good Morning from the Office. I get a little opinionated sometimes. You never know what I might say. All right, Cole's saying a little opinionated, just a little. FYNTV.com, Good Morning from the Office with BKP, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, FYNTV. That's all you have to do, FYNTV.com. We'll see you next week, and go Bobcats Friday night.